What's up, guys? Flaw from the YugiCast here with you. Going to be responding to a request that I got on my last video where well, not my last video, my last deck profile, where I showed you guys my current build of Madolche, and yeah, somebody asked to see some combos that you can make in this deck. I don't really feel like this is a combo-based deck, so I'm not going to show you guys any combos, but I am going to show you guys some plays that they technically qualify as combos. I just don't like calling them that. Because this is much more of a toolbox deck than a combo deck. Think wind-ups, not hieratics, is the way I look at it. But yeah, so let's just assume we have a pretty optimal hand here. This is a play that you're going to make. Let's just assume it's our first turn, we're going second, and let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. We have these 6 cards. Alright. We have Cat, Hoot Cake, our Ticket, and our Chateau, a Max C, and a Dark Bribe. Alright. This actually sets us up pretty well. First thing we're going to do, activate Chateau. Next thing we're going to do, activate Ticket. Alright, so right now we're currently set up so that any monsters that would get, if we get torrentialed, our monsters come back to our hand and we get to search. That's pretty big in this deck. I kind of like that. But what we don't have right now is a way to make Queen because we don't have a monster in our grave. So what we're going to do is we're going to say, oh look, Max C is in our hand. Pitch Max C to start my main phase. Now we have a monster in grave, we can activate Hoot Cake's effect. So we're going to normal summon Madolche Mufel, and then we're going to special summon Madolche Hoot Cake. You're going to activate Hoot Cake's effect, you're going to banish the Max C, you're going to get out the Madolche Messengelato. Actually, you can get him in attack mode. Messengelato's effect is going to activate, sorry, get that back in the frame. Messengelato's effect is going to activate, letting me search for any Madolche spell or trap I want. It doesn't really matter which one, I'll just grab Chateau. And now I can overlay, make an MX Saber Invoker. And from here you're going to detach off of MX Saber Invoker your Madolche Mufel. It's very important in my build of Madolche, and I think in a lot of builds of Madolche, to detach Mufel, because I run 2 Mufel and 3 Hoot Cake. I'm more likely to top this. I'm going to search one anyway, but I'm more likely to top this than I am this on my next draw phase. So, absolute worst case, there's that. So, we're going to activate that, and we're going to go from our deck, and we're going to get out our second Madolche Messengelato. Now, he has to be in defense mode because he was brought up by Invoker's effect. That's very important to remember. He doesn't get to search because I don't have a face-up beast type Madolche, but that's okay. Because from here, you're going to overlay into... You can actually go into any of your rank 4s, but this is a how to make Queen video, so we're going to overlay into Madolche Queen Tiramisu. Now, we're going to activate her effect, detaching the Messengelato as cost. We're going to target our Messengelato and our Mufel in our grave, and at this point we're going to ask, after we target, we're going to ask our opponent if they have any response to the activation of the effect. This is very important, because Queen only targets on my side, or on your side of the field. So once these two go back to wherever they're going, Cat's going to go to my hand and Messengelato is going to go back to the deck. Once these two get what they're going, your opponent can't respond. They're losing 2 cards. End of discussion. No way around it. So you get rid of their 2 cards and you go to, and then your Ticket's going to activate. After the resolution of her effect, which is cards going away, Ticket activates. You're going to go back into your deck. You're going to search for another Hoot Cake. And then you're going to add that Hoot Cake to your hand. So your hand is now... You're now back to 4 cards in hand, actually. You have Madolche Mufel, Madolche Hoot Cake, Dark Bribe, and Madolche Chateau. I'd usually set Bribe and then pass my turn. Now, something to keep in mind here, if you're doing this as a mid to late game push and you're not really, and you just really want to put some pressure on your opponent, you can actually, instead of searching the Hoot Cake off of Ticket and adding it to your hand, you can special summon any Madolche you want. I usually go for Croissant when I'm doing that because I can bounce the Ticket back to my hand and he goes up to a 2300 level 4. Which is a pretty big deal, you know? So, yeah, that's one way to look at it. Like I said, I generally don't go for this early game. This is typically where I'll stop, because from this point on, you can get Darkhold Heavy Storm, and you have, well, one of them will get Dark Bribed away, of course, but, unless they MST your Dark Bribe. But, anyway... This sets you up for a recovery play. If they Darkhold my board, I have monsters in grave for Hoot Cake, and I can make the same play again, but instead of making this guy, I can make Leviair. And I think that's important to be able to know how to do. It makes the game... It makes it easier for you to... It makes it easier for you to have backup plays. Like, the more plays that you can make, it's kind of like... when you were playing if you ever played wind-ups, knowing when and what to search off a factory and when to add it to your hand and when you need to go off and when you need to sit back and just kind of be conservative. And that's just kind of a skill you pick up as you play Madolche. I'm not the best at it, but the deck seems to work for me pretty well. I'm going to go over one more play here where you actually open, let's say you open these 4, because that's going to happen, and you already have a Maxi engrave. But either way, you're at a point where you have no monsters engrave, or you have one monster engrave, it's your Maxi. But you drew in, as unfortunate as it is, you drew into one of your 2 copies of Gelato before you could go off. Do not worry, you can still make queen, you can still go off, and you can actually do this in what is probably my favorite way to make queen, because it saves your invoker, and it actually puts more damage on the board. Not much, but a little. So your first play is going to be your normal summon cat, special summon Hootcake. Now you're going to activate Hootcake's effect, banishing Maxi. You're going to go into your deck, and you're going to look for Madolche Croissant. Now at this point, you have to have either a ticket or a Chateau. We're going to assume you have Chateau, because you have to be able to bounce a monster back, or you have to be able to bounce a Madolche card back, and you can't lose these 2. So you have to have either one of your 4 copies of Chateau or ticket. There's 2 each, total of 4. You have to have one of each. You have to have at least one of each. If you have Chateau and ticket, bounce ticket, because you don't want to prematurely trigger it. But anyway, we're just going to assume we have this. You're going to activate Croissant's effect, bouncing Chateau to your hand. Croissant is now a level 4 1800 monster, and you can go from here, overlay, into your invoker play, detach, well, you have no monsters engraved right now, so it doesn't matter. You want to reactivate your Chateau. Then you want to detach your cat to go into your deck and get out your Gelato. Now at this point, because Gelato was special summoned while I control a face-up beast-type Madolche, I can search for my ticket. And then I can overlay into my queen. This is another really effective way to do this, because from this point you can actually do exactly what I mentioned before. You would actually detach the Gelato as cost, but you would want to detach the Gelato, put the cat in your hand, the Gelato back in the deck, and then you'll search off of ticket to add another Hootcake. So your hand at the end of this will be Hootcake, cat, Gelato. You still have to deal with the fact that you have a Gelato in hand, which can be kind of unfortunate sometimes. But for the most part, you've still got your queen play off, you've still netted some advantage, and you're usually in a pretty good spot from here. And I was actually wrong, this play doesn't put more damage on the board. For some reason I was thinking this was the Levier play. If you happen to draw your Gelato in a Torrential, you can do all of this the same, but I would start by setting Gelato in Torrential. Let your opponent walk into the Torrential, so Gelato's engraved, and instead just make Levier to get your other Gelato back. Then you make the queen with 2 Gelatos. It works just the same either way. So yeah, that's some of the best ways to make queen, the most common ways you're going to make queen in this deck. If you'd like to see my build of Madolche post-Hootcake release, be sure to check out the bottom bar below. There'll be a link there. I want to thank you guys for watching. Please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe to the YugiCast channel. Got some really great content coming up. I know we have a Gusto deck profile coming up later this week from Nick. I've got lots of duel videos recorded, and yeah, we got some really good stuff coming, so hope you guys enjoy it. Hope you guys leave us some feedback, and let us know what you want to see next. Have a great day. Peace.